witness who was very brave to show up today. She doesn't speak much, she said, in front of crowds, so have patience with her, but she's very smart and she has a very great statement to give you.
I'm thankful for the wisdom of our founding fathers and for all that have protected our freedom, our Constitution. I am also thankful that after the violence I personally experienced at the March 4th rally, I'm able to stand here before you today. I have two basic concerns. One is that there are those that seek to shut down our freedom of speech through intimidation and violence. Second is the lack of action by our government officials, which allows, thus encourages, the furthering intimidation and violence of this nature to continue. Not having attended a rally here before, I was excited about the speakers and the gathering of the like-minded. I'm not young and have volunteered in tough neighborhoods, but that day I was naive. I was not prepared. After all, I live in the land of Minnesota nice. Why would I anticipate experiencing violence, especially in our state capital? I was in the crowd right over there, under the arches, listening to the speakers when the protesters tried to push through into the rotunda. They were organized. My thoughts moved from, "You've got to be kidding," to really frustrated. When the protesters became aggressive, it was fear coursing through my veins. Fear-inducing was to watch their lack of civility turn dangerous. To see a father protectively outraged because his daughter had been hit in the face by a protester. Frightening. To witness the flash and menacing snap of a taser. Frightening. To watch in disbelief as the thug reached out to taser a victim. Horrifying. To see faces banged up and bloodied, frightening. To see and hear people suffering from the effects of mace and chemicals sprayed on them, frightening. I came here for a rally, a peaceful event, but when that missile-like object came flying right at me, it was true fear. As I instinctively tried to avoid being hit, thoughts flashed. This is it. I'm done. And as it hit my head, I'm dead. Being hit by that, horrifying. These protesters were not only organized for disruption, they came prepared to drown out freedom of speech, frighten, intimidate, incite violence, and cause physical harm. Outrage is that with victim statements and the plethora of video evidence, not one thug has yet been charged. One can only wonder why that would be. For what reasons are these criminals not being pursued? Is it because of someone's last name? Pressure from other places? Or is it that the government officials responsible just happen to agree with the cause of the protesters? Dangerous, antisocial, and terroristic behavior is being tolerated not only in the streets of our great nation, but now even within the walls of our very own state capitol building. To allow these thugs to go unchallenged will only serve to further embolden them with their violent behaviors, thus continuing to put the law-abiding at risk. For our government officials not to follow through with charging these criminals, to hold them responsible for their actions is behind, or not to hold them responsible, is beyond reprehensible. I challenge them to do their job, and I challenge each person present to contact, thus hold our government officials' feet to the fire by making your voice heard. Feel free to contact Attorney General Choi at 651-266-3222. Thank you so much for listening. God bless America.
Thank you, Kathy.
have to stand for this. Like, I love that you're doing it.
Choi.
It's a lot to stand and hold the flag, but it's committed, let me tell you. Another one of the guys who got maced in the eyes, and this is, he and I become personal friends after this happened because I'm one of the witnesses to what happened to him. And I was over, after it happened, I was over with the police, and then finally the paramedics came over by a drinking fountain, and Kelly must have used 4 or 5 bottles of water pouring through his eyes. I mean, it was brutal. And do you know that he just got his full sight back a week ago? It took him 2 weeks to get his full sight back. I mean, these are felony assaults. This is serious stuff. And I'm just amazed sometimes at how it's being handled. Anyway, this is what Kelly sent. He's indisposed today, and he's very concerned about this whole rally. I was watching the speakers in the rotunda when I saw a young lady and her friend run past me after she was hit in the face by one of the cowards who came to disrupt the planned peaceful event. And you're going to hear from that victim shortly. Hit her very good friend, her mother's best friend. I then handed off my son to a friend and went into the hallway where those were trying to shut us down. For about a half hour, I stood next to Capitol security officers at the bottom of the stairs, staying between the rally attendees and the protesters. Suddenly, they pushed down the stairs, and as I tried to hold my position, one of those cowards sprayed pepper spray right into my eyes at point-blank range, blinding me for over an hour and causing my eye to burn for the rest of the day. It's possible that whoever sprayed me was the one arrested and held for disorderly conduct and eventually released and followed the following Tuesday. I'm told by and I remember they're working with investigators on all these charges. I'm told by the investigator that despite him and others being released without charges, the ongoing investigation may lead to charges. I'm hoping that those involved in this justice system understand the seriousness of these premeditated, deliberate attacks on us citizens who are merely there to exercise our constitutional liberties. I spent 22 years in the military to help ensure those liberties, and I won't stand for a bunch of cowards using violence or threats of violence to try to cause me harm.